Okay, we have long since surpassed 5,000 subscribers, so I think it's time to do a Q&A. Thanks to everybody who asked me a question, whether it was on the YouTube post, Twitter, or Blue Sky. Also follow me if you haven't already, but then again, this one's for my subscribers, so you should already have been following. Well, whatever. I don't want to waste anybody's time, let's just get into it. What's your favorite Pokemon, and how bad would they be as a pet? I don't remember if I said this before, but Mewtwo and Lucario are literally the only two Pokemon I like. Every other Pokemon I'm just not interested in, be it on a casual or aggressive level. It depends. Though ironically, Mewtwo is a Pokemon I really, really like. Quite a bit. But as for how they would be as a pet, I don't know. Honestly. Like, I guess it depends on what Mewtwo I get, and if I could raise them as like a loyal pit bull or something. I don't know. Although, speaking of Pokemon, I have mentioned a few times not liking it. Was I talking specifically about the games or the franchise as a whole? And what games have you played and what seasons have you watched? Mainly the games. I honestly haven't checked out a lot of the anime. I just remember watching a couple episodes and being really bored with it, even as a kid. As for games, I played the original Pokemon Stadium and Gen 3. I forget which Gen 3 was, like I borrowed it from a friend, and I was also bored with those two. Especially since I've grown to love many other JRPGs that I cannot imagine Pokemon doing a whole lot for me nowadays. But just know I will never affiliate myself with its hatedom.
You're not affiliated with me!
3 questions from Epic member GamerGabe 4.0. Not sure what happened to the first 3, but hey. Question 1. What's your favorite color? Emerald green. Question 2. What is your favorite death battle moment? Like it could be in an analysis, in the fight, a joke, etc. Okay, given that you narrowed it down like this, it's honestly really, really difficult, but just to give y'all a preview for the inevitable 24-25 ranking. Yes, I said inevitable, stop asking me. Super Neo Metal Sonic's appearance from Bowser vs. Eggman is probably the hardest I've ever popped off in a while. Like, if ever. In your honest opinion, what is your least favorite video game, and would you ever consider making a review on it as to why? My least favorite video game is Sonic Chronicles The Dark Brotherhood. Taking 2 of my favorite things ever, Sonic the Hedgehog and JRPGs, and just haphazardly meshing them together into something that is not only bad, but just downright baffling and incompetently designed in multiple areas. Yeah, I'm not gonna like that very much. I reckon that some people might say something like Sonic Genesis on the GBA is worse because it's incredibly buggy to the point of being virtually unplayable, but I don't give a shit about some random-ass GBA remake from 2 decades ago. I care about the games I played, and Sonic Chronicles, I played as a kid and hated damn near everything about it. As for whether or not I'd want to make a review of it, I honestly don't know at this point. I just have a bunch of ideas for videos and don't know if I'd be able to get them all done given where my life is currently heading. That's all personal, by the way, don't bother asking. How did you get into JRPGs, and what is your favorite and least favorite of the Tales games? I think the first JRPG I distinctly remember playing was Dragon Quest IX, because one of my best friends from elementary school would just not stop talking about it, so I decided to give it a chance, and I really enjoyed it. And it's to this day the only Dragon Quest game I played, but don't worry, I absolutely intend to change that at some point. And going into Tales specifically, alright, anyone familiar with the series is probably gonna disown me for this take, but Tales of Symphonia, Dawn of the New World was my entry into the series. And I liked it. And I still do. Albeit more in a guilty pleasure kind of way, as it does have some pretty bad design choices, admittedly. Like how the returning characters aren't allowed to level up for some reason. But I got this game through a service that people may or may not remember. It's called Gamefly. It was basically the video game equivalent of Netflix. Back when Netflix would mail a DVD to your house. Imagine that, but with video games. Symphonia Dawn of the New World was relatively low on the list, but because so many games from that list at the time just randomly decided not to have any in stock, Dawn of the New World kind of came upon me as a chance encounter. And keep in mind, I literally just finished playing BlazBlue like the other day, which I still consider to be the most important video game series to me of all time. It was also the game that made me realize stories could be genuinely beautifully written and compelling, and Dawn of the New World was the same case. I also had never played an action RPG before, so hey, there's that one. But obviously, it's like far from my favorite in the series, but it's not my least favorite either. My favorite Tales game is Tales of Exilia. Though, just to clarify for people, this includes Exilia 2. It's just that if you're gonna ask me what my favorite Tales game is, I'm gonna say Exilia. But if you're gonna ask me what my favorite game of all time is, I'm gonna say Tales of Exilia 2. Though technically, they would both be in the same spot. because, well, they're essentially the same game, really, just Exilium 2 has a lot more quality of life improvements, and it also has more content. As for my least favorite of the Tales games, some of you might expect me to say something like Zestiria, and while I don't really like that game, anyone who would seriously pick a mothership title as their least favorite Tales game instead of one of the crappy-ass Japan-exclusive spin-offs is such a fucking normie. And if you're gonna make me say normie unironically, then you know I have a bone to pick with this genre of human being. Because my least favorite Tales game is Tales of Versus. It's just such a brilliant idea. Like, you're taking the Tales series, which is like the grandfather of action RPGs, which already played more like a fighting game than a traditional RPG, and make it a dedicated fighting game? That's a fantastic idea. But then they made it a platform fighter, which, to be fair, isn't immediately a bad idea. But then you play the game and you realize, wait, it's basically Smash Brothers, but every single stage is basically one of these four, and every character has the mobility of Kazuya. It's just such a horribly designed game. And its roster is even shit too. I believe this came out before Graces, so there was already some slim pickings here and there, but no Reed, no Chloe, no Zelos, no Guy, no villain characters aside from Douse and Richter if you want to count him. Yet fucking Harold Berzelius gets to be in the game? Really? That just doesn't make any sense. Honestly, I could go on, but I've already made a Twitter tirade years back, so I won't. Have you played any of the Ace Attorney games or had any interest? Sadly, no, but it is on my radar. Another based member, Longthorn Henderson 331. Wait, was the 331 always there? Okay, no, it's not. Okay, you did ask quite a few questions, and admittedly, I really should have put a limit on this, but we'll go with this. What's the origin for your username? My name is Jonathan. I like the cold. Cold is associated with freezing or being frosty. Stay frosty. Frostathan. Yeah. What editing program do you use? For video editing, I use DaVinci Resolve, though I'll occasionally experiment with the Adobe line of products if I feel like I need to. What are/were your inspirations for creating YouTube videos? What got me to start was CJS001, Maverick Hunter 075, currently known as Benjamage, and frankly, quite a few people from the Countdown community now that I'm thinking about it, except Josh Scorcher, funnily enough. Like, I did watch his videos, but I just preferred the Autark of Flame way more, to be honest. But as for a current inspiration, I really want to try and replicate Fawful's Minion's writing style. He's just... he just has such a way with words.
A prophesized star born from the bitterness of man. Suburban whimsy, thy name is Roald Dahl. How am I not blasting Broadway out my lungs right now? All right. Puberty. That was a real cough, holy shit.
Where do you see your YouTube career going in 5 years? I don't. What are your top 5 favorite movies or games? Movies or games? Okay, I actually haven't really thought about my top 5 favorite movies yet. Just know my favorite movie is Whiplash. I'd also put the Back to the Future trilogy here, and Rocketman. Yeah, I think that should be a good top 5. As for games, okay, admittedly, I'm always kind of flip-flopping, but consistently, Tales of Exilium 2 and Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze are always going to be in my top 5, I fear. Before anybody asked, as amazing as it is, Bonanza didn't quite surpass Tropical Freeze for me, just because I thought that Tropical Freeze had more creative level design. Though as for the other 3 games, off the top of my head, I guess I could go with Kid Icarus Uprising, Final Fantasy IX, and Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. Yeah, I think that'll do. What's a quote you say/use regularly? Okay, not specifically a quote, but you know how the Japanese seiyuu for Sonic will occasionally speak English as an intentional quirk? And yes, that is actually meant to be a part of his character. I do that too, but for multiple languages instead of just Japanese. Like sometimes I'll go merde, or sometimes I'll go mierda, or I'll go ah la la, which is also French, believe it or not. And of course there's the classic yare yare daze. If you have the ability to bring one character from Monster Prom into your world to be your friend/roommate, who are you picking and why? Okay, full disclosure, I am looking it up in real time because I don't know what a Monster Prom is, but I still want to be polite and answer your question, so, probably this guy named, Liam de Lioncourt. Yeah, he looks cool, I guess. What are your top 4 Mario Kart tracks of all time?
I know what you are!
If you could give any pre-existing IP a fighting game, what would it be? Well, I would love to see a real Tales of Versus, specifically one that plays more like a traditional fighting game, but in case that's cheating, I'll go with something else. A Yu Yu Hakusho fighting game would go so hard, y'all have no idea. Do you think Ruby deserved more representation in BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle? Speaking as a Ruby hater, yes. Like, why does it matter that Team Ruby are the only characters allowed to be in the game? I guess, along with Neo. And also, I just don't understand what BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle decided to be. Like, the fact that they unironically included a Senran Kagura character of all things is just weird to me. Thoughts on Ash vs. Yugi? It's cool. Episode's not out yet at the time of it, though I am predicting it as the finale of Death Battle 25. I just don't have any attachment to it, due to my disinterest in Pokemon and the fact that I have not checked out Yu-Gi-Oh! Yet. Would you storm the Capitol to save your mom? What's my mom doing at the Capitol? What's a piece of media, games, TV show, or franchise in general that people like but you don't? Hellsing. Like, I don't think it's poorly written or anything, but it is very aggressively mediocre and boring. Like, Alucard carries the series for me, and to an extent Anderson as well, albeit I really don't like how his story ended. But for some reason, they just didn't want to focus on those characters and instead decided to hyperfixate themselves on, like, one of the least interesting characters I've ever seen in an anime. Like, sheesh. I swear, fucking Princess Peach has more agency than Ceres sometimes. I feel that way. What do you think is your best and worst video? My best video, probably my Gus vs. Dimitri video. And in case anyone wants to know what my favorite part of my Death Battle retrospective was, my Season 9 ranking. As for my worst video, the one from 2018 that I deleted like 4 days after uploading it because I knew exactly how I fucked up. But it did spawn the origin of this ever so iconic comment. Godspeed, King Heidu. Whatever the fuck a Heidu is. If you had to make a Death Battle pitch that only uses anime and animated movie characters, which one would you make? Okay, so does it have to be anime versus animated movie? Because that very much narrows down what I could possibly pick from. Unless if you're just saying that I'm only allowed to use one of those, which case anime versus anime? Spike versus Revy is my third most wanted matchup, so, and like, Cowboy Bebop did have an animated movie, so yeah, I'll go with that. Which Tales titles would you recommend to newcomers? Honestly, the ones you played are a perfect start. The Remaster Project is probably the best time to get into the Tales series now than ever, and Vesperian Definitive Edition has always been a good introduction. Like, I think the game is overrated, but only by its actual definition, where it's still good, but not as good as people say it is. Symphonia is a must-play for any Tales fan, though admittedly it is kind of archaic. But to be fair, it was the first 3D action RPG ever. I don't think we have nearly enough people appreciating the fact that the Tales series technically defined a subgenre twice. It defined the action RPG and then defined the 3D action RPG. Like, that just doesn't get enough talk. But either way, short version, just play the remastered games, except for the Symphonia remaster. That one's crap. You're better off emulating the GameCube version. How do you feel about Thorgy's BlazBlue retrospective, especially how he covered the story? I like it. Like, he didn't really touch upon the themes all that much, although I understand why. He just wanted it to be more of a retelling that was easier to consume. And I respect that. And even then, he did an accurate retelling, so God bless him. What is your least favorite genre of games, and is there an exception in that game genre that you like? Sport games are always just white noise to me. I don't hate sports as much as I used to, but stuff like FIFA, Madden, FIFA's not a sports game anymore, but stuff like Madden, MLB, NBA 2K, they just don't appeal to me whatsoever. Now, Mario sports games, however, a lot of those are really good. Have you ever watched WWE? If so, what is your favorite wrestler? Not much, I've mostly just seen clips from WWE, but I have seen a lot of the Undertaker and Kane arc, like featuring Paul Bearer. So I guess I go with Undertaker. What's your 16th most favorite song? Wow, 16th? You picked that number? Really? That's kind of an odd number to pick. I honestly don't know what I would consider my 16th, so how about I just rephrase that to saying one of my favorite songs and say Rose Tattoo by the Dropkick Murphys. Up there is one of my all-time favorites. Besides Ragnar and Travis, if you could get a character to be in the next Smash Bros. Game, who would it be and why? Good thing you didn't pick my favorite Smash Bros. Character idea ever. Yes, I am once again shilling Exilia 2. Because, like, think about it. Ludger is a character that's able to switch between dual blades, dual pistols, and a sledgehammer. Imagine doing that naturally within moveset. And I'm not talking about something like with down B or whatever. I mean doing so through a taunt. Kind of like what Project M did with Power Suit Samus. And then you also have the Chromatis transformation, where he gets an entirely new moveset, and just being a combo-oriented fighter. It'd just be so fucking awesome, but y'all ain't ready for that conversation, even though I just had it here. What are your family members' interests? Like, what shows, movies, books, or games do they like? Sitcoms. We all love sitcoms. Even me. Like, I don't consider them high art or whatever, but I just find them really relaxing, especially after working for like 6 hours on a video. You'd be surprised as to how relaxing it is. But as for specific interest, my parents really like murder mysteries. I have a brother who's much more of a cinephile than I ever will be. My sister's definitely more mainstream oriented, but I gotta call out my family's shithouse media literacy. Like, one of my brothers hates Puss in Boots: The Last Wish entirely because of music. I am not kidding. But to blow your mind even further, his favorite Star Wars movie is The Phantom Menace, exclusively because Qui-Gon Jinn's in it. Who is your favorite JoJo villain? I'd have to go with Poochie. I'm not one of those people who said Poochie basically won, because, like, the fact that he was still able to have his fate circumvented is just proof that he didn't win. But he comes so fucking close, and he is just an absolute menace. Whether he's White Snake, Sea Moon, or especially Made in Heaven, he is just such an overwhelming force while genuinely being an interesting character with a great backstory. Oh, and for those curious, here's how I would rank the rest of the JoJo villains, and I have not read JoJo Lion yet, so I think I'll get back to you on Toru. Do you think you're gonna rank every character theme of any fighting game you love the most like Blaze Blue? That does sound like a fun idea. Who's your favorite Death Battle reviewer? Okay, for Death Battle specifically, I don't watch Death Battle reviews nearly as much as I used to. For the record, I was never gonna say myself. I'm not a Death Battle tuber, y'all. Though if I had to pick, I would easily go with Raccoon Bro. Call me biased since I essentially work for him now and am a regular for a lot of his stuff. But I just genuinely think his analysis is fantastic, and he's, no joke, the only person that is able to get me to like the Shea Frillis style of transitions. I don't have anything against them, nor the people who use them. They just never do anything for me, and especially from an editor's perspective, it just feels really tedious to, like, go out of your way to find a clip from a massive video that you're only gonna use for, like, 2 seconds at most, or something like that. But Raccoon Bro incorporates them with actual footage, and I just think it's really charming and funny. Though, of course, I gotta give shoutouts to plenty of other YouTube content creators. Everyone loves the Raptor, yes. Everyone loves Digital Ty. I'm sure you do. You love Digital Ty, I know you do. I also think Aqua's videos are super underrated, and more people need to normalize watching their content. And you know what? I'm just gonna say it. Even if I don't actively watch their channel much, I thoroughly believe that Hawk of Krypton has potential to be the best Death Battle reviewer ever, if I'm being honest. The production quality is solid for a first-timer, his videos are generally well-written, there's a lot of creativity in the thumbnails. Assuming he's able to consistently improve, I could easily see him surpassing Nemesis Bloodreich thousands of times over. And Biffweed too, while I'm at it. Which, don't get me wrong, I like their stuff as well. Like, I think Biffweed's non-Death Battle stuff is genuinely some of my favorite videos he's ever made. It's just that, why are these two the only Death Battle reviewers that people hyperfixate on for opinions, knowing that this community is home to plenty of other reviewers who are just as talented, if not potentially better? This is a community. We should be celebrating that instead of exclusively focusing and propping up, like, 1 or 2 people in it. Holy crap, Lois, Strange Fate mentioned in the big 2025? And they're a member? God bless. First question, not sure if you said this before what your favorite anime is, so I'm curious to your top 3 to 5. Well, I have said multiple times that Cowboy Bebop is my favorite work of fiction, but I'll be more fair and say the next 5 in order. Yu Yu Hakusho, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, Gurren Lagann, Black Lagoon, and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And his second question, Mega? Mega what? Do you have a favorite iteration of Scooby-Doo as a fellow fan? It might be cliched, but Mr. Incorporated is my favorite iteration, though the ones that I grew up with were the classic Hanna-Barbera series, as well as What's New Scooby-Doo, the latter of which I watched a lot as a kid and just refused to stop watching. What do you usually like to do during the summer? Not get sunburned. Okay, but to be fair, going on walks is pretty cool, especially since I live in a big city where there's like so much to explore. Do you have interest doing analysis/retrospectives on games like Guilty Gear or Deltarune? Guilty Gear, yes, but Deltarune, wait until I've actually played Deltarune and I'll get back to you on that. What's your general consensus towards the Mario RPGs? Honestly, the Mario RPGs are among my favorites ever. I've always preferred the Mario spin-off to the Mario platformers, if I'm being honest, and the RPGs are a big factor as to why. Like, Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door is a masterpiece, like, what else is there to say? And I also think Super Paper Mario is just as good in a lot of areas. And Paper Mario 64 lore, it's pretty good. It just doesn't really captivate me nearly as much as the other games. Don't ask me about the other 3 because I don't want to play those. Mario & Luigi's also really good. Bowser's Inside Story is one of my favorite games in the series. It's just consistently entertaining. The gameplay mechanics are really strong and fun. The final boss is iconic, even though Alex Rokon gaslit a generation into thinking otherwise for no reason. Superstar Saga I didn't get to play until last year, but it's great. And Dream Team I also didn't get to play until last year, despite getting it as a Christmas gift in 2016, and it's fine. Like, I still like it. It just has a lot of problems that I'm not too keen on. But with that said, I feel that my favorite Mario RPG spin-offs are the Mario & Rabbids games. Hell, the only thing stopping the original Mario & Rabbids Kingdom Battle from being in my top 10 favorite games of all time is that you're forced to have Mario in the team at all times. In a game that encourages customization, that's kind of stupid. The Sparks of Hope is also really, really good, even if I don't like it quite much as the original, just because I feel like it's easier and the gameplay isn't as smooth in my opinion. But it's still fantastic, and I especially love the DLC pass. Like Rayman and the Phantom Show, my beloved! What is your connection to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? Honestly, it got me to respect anime as a medium, as well as challenge my viewpoints on what good writing looks like. Also, like, my name is Jonathan, so like, come on. Do you plan on doing more voice acting? Look, I really want to, but every time I get an audition I really want to consider, I just don't do it for some reason. It's probably because of some kind of anxiety thinking I'm actually a fraudulent voice actor or whatever. That's why I kind of like put on the meme on how Cronin McDougal from the Studio Still King of Fighters 15 fan dub is the one iconic thing I've ever done. Iconic obviously being in quotation marks. And speaking of which, what processes / inspirations went into your Cronin voice? Tyler, you're in the server where I talked about it. So just to give a bit of lore, my Cronin voice was originally an audition for Iori, where I went down here quite a bit like, what's wrong? But Studio Still casted somebody else who did a much better job than I could ever hope to. But they still thought that my Iori voice would fit really well for Cronin. But then I tried the Iori voice for it, was like, small dogs like to bitch the loud, and it just wasn't working. So like, I went to this voice, went a little higher and higher and higher, and then added some growling effects, specifically taking inspiration from Quentin Flint's Raiden from Metal Gear Solid Rising Revengeance, as well as the attitude of Travis Touchdown, the little fuckhead! And bam, there you go, you got Cronin. And as they say, small dogs like to bitch the loudest. What happened to all the Death Battle season videos on my second channel? I deleted them because they're fucking horrible videos. I just actively can't stand my attitude from those videos. I don't stand by some of the opinions I made. They're just very, very low quality and like not up to the standard of where I put myself now. There's just literally no value to those videos anymore. And if you really, really want me to talk about Death Battle matchups in depth, just watch Raccoon Bros Trash Picks Talks. I'm a regular in that. Favorite movie and show? Whiplash is my all-time favorite movie. It completely broke me, but in the best possible way. That got me to like rethink my entire life, again, for the better. As for favorite show, well, I don't want to say Cowboy Bebop again. I'll pick something for live action, so how about I say Psych? It's just one of the funniest shows of all time, and I just love everything about it, from its charming character dynamics, and also, fun fact, I know I'm Arrow Ace, but Maggie Lawson is one of my 3 celebrity crushes. Joel McHale and Matt Mercer. What fighting games do you play and who do you main from said games? Honestly, I play a lot of fighting games. Like, I will literally go out of my way to play some obscure fighting games. Like, anybody here know what Pretty Fighter is? If you know, you know. But if you don't, it's exactly what it looks like. But as for what I regularly play, mainly just Capcom and Arc Sys fighters. How easily does Goku solo your favorite verse? Depends on the Tails game. He solos all of them, but some he solos harder than others. Oh, Vagos. Vagos. I really should have put a limit on how many questions people could ask, because you asked a bunch of them across all 3 social media platforms. But you know what? You say answer as many as you wish, but I'm gonna answer all of them. Favorite YouTuber, Cat Icarus. Favorite internet reviewer. I honestly don't trust internet reviews nearly as much as I used to. In fact, I don't think I trust them at all, but if it counts again, then I'll just say Cat Icarus once again. Favorite versus show outside of Death Battle, Riot Rumble. Also shoutouts to Fictional Feud, because God bless Lil Galil. Favorite movie, Whiplash. Favorite and least favorite video of yours you've made. Favorite video, Gus vs. Dimitri video. Least favorite, you will never know. Do you have a degree in poultry science? No. Favorite YouTube series aside from Death Battle? I'm assuming I'm allowed to include indie animation as well, so I'll just pick Punch Punch Forever off the top of my head. Classic anime, brain rot, my beloved. And finally, what is your favorite fandom you've been a part of? The Marvel vs. Capcom fandom, easily. I used to participate in online tournaments and online ranking ladders all the time, and I met some really cool people that a couple of which I may or may not still be in touch with. Jacomania, if you're running wild to this day and you're watching this video, God bless you! And I've also exclusively ever come across one jackass in the entire community. Actually, I think I should say 2, but that is still significantly less than every other fandom I've been a part of. At least in terms of fandoms with fans that I have actively engaged with. Anyways, that is all. How did you manage to get 5.5 subscribers? No. You see, Raptor, I know you're making fun of me, but that's not a typo. Vagos asked me way too many questions and also kept necro-posting several posts I made on Twitter and Blue Sky from well over a month ago, so I sliced it body in half, so that's why it counts as half of a subscriber. Though he doesn't know it because I manipulated his brain with a Mind Stone. So this video is probably where he finds out for the first time. Is there a piece of media you've been meaning to try but haven't gotten around to yet? Honestly, I don't know what I would even say anymore, because if there's a piece of media I've been wanting to try, I usually just do it. But picking something that I haven't discussed yet, Star Ocean. I just need to play more JRPGs in general. Have you ever watched Ninjago? I actually remember watching the original pilot when it first premiered. Like, I used to have multiple of the Spin Jitsu figures. For those who don't know or might not remember, there used to be this, like, game where you would go, Ninjago! And then you would spin the figures and, like, knock the other one down, see which one falls over first. I actually had multiple of those figures before giving them away years ago, along with pretty much every single Lego brick I owned, except for the Lego Temple of Doom set, apparently. Somehow that one was never given away. I saw the premiere because of that, and I think I remember liking it as a kid, though I was also in middle school, I believe? 5th grade, 6th grade? I don't remember. But I haven't interacted with the show all that much. Only watching like 1 or 2 episodes when I had to babysit kids during my parents' small group sessions, and I don't remember hating it, if that means anything. What are your thoughts on Terry Bogard?
Okay!
I'm also trying to main him in Street Fighter 6, so there is that. You can only answer one, but screw you, Dorfix, or I'm gonna answer all 3. Favorite Capcom game? The Mega Man Zero series, all 4 of them. Opinion on DK Bonanza? Okay, as you can tell, this question was asked before the game came out, so now that I played it, well, I did say it's my favorite game of 2025 so far, so any animated show, West or East, you are currently watching. I've been watching the My Hero Academia anime, and I've been enjoying quite a bit of it. Favorite movie and game from 2024, or this year so far? Favorite movie from 2024? I'd probably say The Wild Robot. And in terms of game released in 2024? I guess I'd go with Sonic X Shadow Generations. And as for this year, I haven't seen too many movies from this year, so I guess I'll be the basic bitch and go Superman. And as for games, again, I'll be a basic bitch and say Donkey Kong Bonanza. What is your favorite niche non-Nintendo gaming franchise? Gotta represent the Pulse Man stands in the chat. And for those who haven't played the game, just watch some footage of Stage 3. It's a casino level. Casino of Lights, to be exact. Do it. Watch footage of it. If you could be anything, and by anything I mean literally anything, what would you be? Matt Mercer's betrothed. What has been your favorite moment in a death battle that you don't like? I've said this before, but it bears repeating. The second half of Zuko vs. Shoto's animation is unironically cinema. I just wish everything surrounding that half was nearly as good. Although Shoto's analysis wasn't that bad, to be fair, but it's not exactly standout, so I won't count that. What's your favorite place to get French fries? Okay, y'all are probably gonna hate me for this, but I don't like French fries, so nowhere really. Literally, the only way you could possibly get me to tolerate them is if they're garlic parm fries at Giordano's, which are actually pretty good, or if I'm allowed to douse them in seasoned salt. That's it. What are your thoughts on the classic Mega Man trilogy? I mean, the classic Mega Man series is more than just a trilogy, but I love it. I played every game in the classic series except for Mega Man 9, and I've enjoyed every single game. Here's my ranking of what I played so far. How do you feel? Oh, it's Matseye again. Am I gonna have to time you out of the chat again? How do you feel about Dante, Lloyd, and Travis just being Mii costumes in Smash? The same way I feel about you. Which Mario Kart song do you want to hear in a loop for a day? Mario Kart World's remix of Choco Mountain. It's the hardest remix in the game. Not the best track in Mario Kart World, I wouldn't quite say that, but it does go the hardest in my opinion. And it also gives me supernatural powers. Like, it gives me the speedrunner's guide to blitzing through literally whatever I'm doing at least 40% faster than normal at minimum. Y'all have no idea. This works wonders for when I'm working on a video or a commission. Who's your favorite Mortal Kombat character? Again, it's probably cliched, but Johnny Cage. Like, he's just fun. If you were able to choose a personal death battle episode, what characters would you choose for it? Personal? Personal as in, this is the me death battle episode? I'd go with Tifa Lockhart versus Jude Mathis from Tales of Exilia, easily. I just want Exilia to get mentioned. That or Tara Branford versus Mila Maxwell, which is honestly a lot less likely to get cucked if I'm being honest, because like, Tara's big matchups aren't nearly as popular as Tifa's. Favorite movie, show, or character of all time? I did answer the first two, but the third one, I have not answered yet. My favorite character is Alvin from Tales of Exilia. Oh my gosh, I'm just gonna be shilling this game all the time. Wow, it's almost like you should go play the Tales of Exilia remaster when it comes out or something. Like, I mean, come on. It's literally gonna come out on my birthday weekend. Like, Namco, you must have done this on purpose. You must have! Favorite No More Heroes moment? Everything to do with Alice Twilight and No More Heroes 2. That was the moment where I really started falling in love with No More Heroes. What's your opinion on Kasane Teto? Okay, normally I wouldn't answer this, but it is this person's mission to ask as many people about this as possible, so I shall respect that and look up the character in real time. Oh, that Teto? Oh, geez, wait, I know this Teto. Yo, Teto mentioned. Yeah, Teto's cool. Teto's cool. I didn't know her first name was Kazane, what? Given you're doing a Mario Kart ranking, what will be the endpoint? 8 Deluxe or World? Okay, I don't think I clarified this properly, so just for anyone who's watching my Mario Kart videos, as you should, World is the endpoint. Admittedly, 8 Deluxe was originally going to be the endpoint because it was supposed to come out before World was even announced, but now that the game's out and shit just constantly kept happening, yeah, I think I might as well just talk about World. What is a movie that you hate but everyone else loves? Rogue One, a Star Wars story. No joke, I genuinely think it is so much worse than the sequel trilogy combined. People like to criticize that movie for having bad characters. At least I can remember their names. None of Rogue One's characters stand out at all. Not even the ones with the funny "I'm one with the Force and the Force with me" line. He was generic as fuck. I swear, I'm convinced that people only say it's good because it has a Darth Vader fight scene at the end of it. I'm sorry if that sounds a little pompous, but that is the only real takeaway that I get from this movie in a positive light. Everything else about it is just like genuinely dreadful experience. Like, I saw this in the theaters, and it was the most bored I had ever been watching a movie. Like, people thought it was so bold that the main characters of the movie died. It was like, what else were they supposed to do? They had no other role in the Star Wars canon as far as I'm aware, so like, what else were they supposed to do? Like, this felt like a pointless movie that had just had no interesting writing, terrible editing, like it constantly moves all over the place, fight scenes that, while not bad, still get outclassed by damn near every other fight scene in this franchise. All it is just a worthless cash grab. But if you're gonna be a cash grab, the least you could do is make me laugh at your pathetic existence. But it's just so banal and blasé in every single way, and the acting is just the least spectacular acting I've ever seen. Admittedly, I don't watch too many movies, but like, out of all the ones I've seen, this is one of my least favorite movies, period. And speaking of controversy, if two vegans get into an argument, is it still considered beef? Juwan Wilson? I gotta say, that is a damn good question. Has there a series you have seen only due to Death Battle and a series that happened the opposite, where you didn't want to watch it after the Death Battle? Well, admittedly, the first half of that question, I'm not 100% sure what you mean by that. As in, like, what series did I get into that I was first introduced to from Death Battle? Like, I would just say Yu Yu Hakusho and Full Metal Alchemist, but I've already talked about those series in this video alone, so that's kind of a boring answer, and I want to see if I can come up with something else. I mean, I guess technically Guilty Gear counts. Actually, no, I'll say Soul Eater. Yeah, I've been reading Soul Eater recently, and I first heard about it through Death Battle. Didn't even know what it is until Venom vs. Corona came out. But as for a series I didn't want to watch after the Death Battle, this one is much easier for me to answer. Bleach. I knew about Bleach before the episode came out, given that I had played Super Smash Flash 2 and Ichigo was in that. But the Death Battle really gave me a taste as to what its fans are like, and I'm like, why is it that they're the most obnoxiously pugnacious group of fuckers I've ever seen? Maybe I've just been getting bad luck with the Bleach fans I find on the internet, but also, why is it that every single Bleach fan that hates Madara vs. Aizen has a fetish for using the R word? Except for Dorkun, she's like the one exception and is also a friend of mine, but like, why is she the only cool Bleach fan I have ever met? Like, every other one is just overly aggressive for no fucking reason, and I don't get why. And I act unnecessarily aggressive quite a bit, so if I'm the one saying that, then someone fucked up, and it sure as hell wasn't me. And that just kind of puts me off from checking out Bleach. Who do you hate more, Morgana or Pikachu? The one that I made a video on. What is the best BlazBlue game and character in your opinion? My favorite BlazBlue game, at least gameplay-wise, is Chrono Phantasma, though Central Fiction is relatively close behind. Though honestly, I would put all 4 games in the same tier because they're all that important to me. And as for favorite BlazBlue character, it is actually not Ragna, it's Jin Kisaragi. And before anybody starts pitching me Jin Kisaragi ideas, don't. My stance on Jin being in Death Battle is 1-to-1 with Nemesis Bloodreich's opinion on Gilgamesh from Fate being on Death Battle. And finally, the most epic question of this video so far. If you had the mask from The Mask, specifically 1994, and you put on the mask to become the mask, what would you do as the mask? Become an MMA fighter. Like seriously, if you became an MMA fighter and you had Toon Force, it would just be impossible to lose. Just no way around it. I have no fighting experience whatsoever, and I guarantee I could still win with Toon Force. Whew! Okay, it's getting real sweaty in here. Thank you all so much for your questions. It was very nice, and thank you all for watching my videos, subscribing to the channel, and special shoutouts and bragging rights to people who became channel members. And if you're not a member yourself, well, hey, never too late to collect the biggest bragging rights of them all. Anyways, good time was had by all. Bye!